Across the globe, lifestyle diseases are on the rise: obesity, diabetes, high blood pressure. Yet, in the heart of rural Africa, many communities continue to thrive on diets that have kept their bodies lean, strong, and remarkably resilient for generations. Imagine this: a 75-year-old woman from Nigeria walks several miles daily without joint pain, fueled not by supplements or expensive wellness trends, but by traditional African meals passed down through her family. These meals aren't just delicious, they're packed with healing power, scientific wisdom, and cultural pride. So why isn't the world paying more attention? Why is it that African foods, so rich in nutrients, antioxidants, and healing properties, remain largely overlooked in global health discussions? Why are we so quick to label quinoa a superfood while ignoring fonio, which has a higher amino acid profile and has been eaten for thousands of years? Why are moringa and baobab praised only when they're packaged in trendy wellness brands, while the communities that have relied on them for centuries are left out of the narrative? African food is finally stepping into the spotlight, but not in the way it deserves. It's often exoticized, misrepresented, or reduced to Instagram aesthetics. But behind every traditional dish lies a deep scientific truth. African food doesn't just fill your stomach. It fuels your body, fights disease, and connects you to a legacy of health and strength. In this video, we're pulling back the curtain on the rich, nutrient-dense world of African cuisine. We'll explore 10 astonishing health benefits that are backed by science, lived experience, and thousands of years of tradition. From leafy greens to ancient grains, from gut-healing fermented foods to potent spices, you're about to discover why African food may be the most underrated health secret in the world, and how it can transform your well-being in ways you never imagined. While the Western world rushes to market the next superfood or invent the newest plant-based diet, a quiet nutritional revolution has been happening on the African continent for centuries. Only it's not a trend. It's a tradition. The African diet, deeply rooted in whole foods, natural preparation methods, and cultural wisdom, is one of the most balanced, healing, and nutrient-dense on the planet. Yet it remains largely misunderstood, underrepresented, and undervalued in mainstream conversations about health. From the Sahel to the Swahili coast, African communities have relied on diets rich in unprocessed grains, leafy vegetables, legumes, roots, and fermented foods, creating meals that are not just tasty, but medicinal. These aren't dishes designed for Instagram. They are built to nourish. They're rich in fiber, plant protein, natural antioxidants, and prebiotics that support everything from cardiovascular health to brain function. What's even more powerful is how these diets adapt to the climate and health needs of each region. In Ethiopia, injera made from teff provides complete proteins and iron. In Ghana, fermented corn in kenki boosts gut flora and aids digestion. In Nigeria, the oil in egusi soup delivers heart-healthy fats alongside leafy greens that cleanse the blood. This isn't culinary coincidence, it's generational intelligence that blends culture with functionality. Modern science is just beginning to catch up. Studies now show that traditional African diets help regulate blood sugar, lower inflammation, and reduce the risk of chronic disease. Meanwhile, the Western diet, high in sugar, salt, and processed ingredients, is linked to rising obesity and lifestyle illnesses. And yet, African food remains under the radar, often dismissed as too simple, too spicy, or too strange to fit the mold of wellness trends. The irony is painful. The very foods that could help fix global nutrition problems are being sidelined in favor of less effective, more expensive alternatives. But we have the chance to rewrite that story. By embracing the power of these traditional foods and understanding their value, we're not just preserving culture, we're saving lives. This isn't about going backward, it's about reclaiming forward-thinking nutrition that has stood the test of time. It's time the world gave African food the credit it has always deserved. In the global health conversation, grains like quinoa and brown rice are constantly celebrated as heroes of wellness. But long before those trends took over Western plates, African communities were thriving on a powerful lineup of ancient grains that are not only nutritionally superior, but also deeply tied to heritage and survival. Fonio, teff, millet, and sorghum. These are the grains that have fueled generations, fought hunger, and healed bodies. Fonio, for instance, is one of the oldest cultivated grains in Africa. It cooks quickly, has a low glycemic index and contains amino acids vital for human health, including methionine and cysteine, nutrients missing from most other grains. Teff, Ethiopia's staple, is a powerhouse of iron, calcium, and protein, and because it's gluten-free, it supports digestion without inflammation. Millet and sorghum, widely grown across West and East Africa, are drought-resistant, making them not just sustainable, but essential in combating food insecurity. These grains don't just feed, they fortify. Packed with fiber, they regulate blood sugar, reduce cholesterol, and keep you full longer. Yet they remain underappreciated in the modern food narrative. What's fascinating is how these grains are seamlessly woven into everyday meals. Fonio as a soft couscous-like base, teff as the key ingredient in injera, millet in porridges and beverages, and sorghum in flatbreads and traditional beers. Their versatility is matched only by their nutritional depth. For people looking to move away from overly processed carbs and toward whole, healing foods, these grains offer a solution rooted in ancient wisdom and modern science. They're not just alternatives, they're upgrades. And as awareness grows, chefs, nutritionists, and health enthusiasts are beginning to rediscover what African farmers have always known. When it comes to building strength, sustaining energy, and protecting health, these ancient grains are second to none. It's time we looked beyond the shelves of trendy health stores and embraced the wisdom already sitting in the soil of the motherland. Long before detox teas and green smoothies became wellness staples, African communities were already harnessing the natural healing powers of leafy greens that grow abundantly across the continent. These plants weren't marketed with flashy labels or bottled into expensive supplements. They were simmered into stews, pounded into sauces, and eaten fresh from the soil. Every bite a dose of medicine disguised as food. Take ugwu, or fluted pumpkin leaves, for example. A staple in Nigerian cooking, this vibrant green is rich in iron, calcium, and antioxidants that support blood production and immune health. Then there's moringa, often dubbed the miracle tree. Not by marketers, but by communities who've used its leaves to fight malnutrition for generations. With more vitamin C than oranges, more potassium than bananas, and a powerful anti-inflammatory profile, moringa leaves are nutritional giants. Bitter leaf, despite its name, carries compounds that help cleanse the liver, regulate blood sugar, and boost digestion. A bitter taste for a better body. Baobab leaves, often overshadowed by the fruit's fame, are packed with calcium and have been used to treat fever, diarrhea, and inflammation for centuries. What ties all these greens together isn't just their nutrient density, but their cultural legacy. In African homes, food isn't separated from healing. It's the first prescription. Grandmothers don't reach for pills, they reach for leaves. And while the modern world is just now discovering the detoxifying properties of kale and spinach, African greens have been quietly doing the heavy lifting of disease prevention, hormonal balance, and internal cleansing without the hype. These plants are not only abundant and affordable, but also deeply tied to tradition, ritual, and survival. Their presence on the dinner table is a reminder that true health solutions don't always come in packages. They grow in gardens, sprout in backyards, and thrive in the same soil that raised our ancestors. Reclaiming them is not just a return to our roots, it's a revolution of wellness, grounded in the green power of the land. There's something almost magical about the way African spices and herbs transform a meal, not just in taste, but in the way they interact with the body. Behind every peppery bite, aromatic leaf, and pungent clove lies centuries of medicinal knowledge encoded into flavor. These ingredients don't just season food, they sustain health, strengthen immunity, and treat illness, often without people even realizing it. In kitchens from Lagos to Addis Ababa, garlic and ginger are more than common staples. They're immune-boosting, anti-inflammatory powerhouses. Their use in soups, stews, and teas is a natural defense mechanism passed down like folklore. Cloves and African nutmeg, with their warm, sweet bite, are rich in antioxidants and have been shown to improve circulation and digestion while fighting harmful bacteria. Then there's scent leaf. Known for its unique aroma and even more potent benefits, it supports respiratory health, combats infections, and acts as a natural relaxant for the nervous system. African turmeric, though less talked about than its Asian counterpart, grows in various regions and offers similar anti-inflammatory effects, supporting everything from joint health to liver function. But what makes African spices and herbs truly unique is how they are used, not as supplements or isolated powders, but in daily life, infused into every meal, every broth, every cup of hot water. They are ritual and remedy combined. Every household has its trusted blend, every cook their healing secret. While pharmaceutical companies isolate active compounds in labs, African communities have long understood that it's the harmony of the whole plant, the balance of the flavors, and the frequency of use that make these ingredients so effective. They don't just treat disease, they prevent it. And as the rest of the world wakes up to the power of functional foods, Africa's spice cabinet stands ready, stocked with ingredients that not only flavor life, but help preserve it. To rediscover them is to reclaim a culinary tradition that has always doubled as medicine, delicious, powerful, and healing, right from the earth. Beneath the soil of Africa lies an entire pharmacy of nourishment, rooted quite literally in the tubers and legumes that form the backbone of countless traditional meals. Far from being mere starchy fillers, these underground treasures are dense with fiber, slow-burning carbohydrates, and nutrients that sustain energy and promote metabolic health. Yams, for example, are more than just a staple. They're rich in vitamin C, potassium, and resistant starch, which supports gut health and helps regulate blood sugar. Unlike the processed carbs that dominate modern diets, yams digest slowly, keeping you full while preventing energy crashes. Cassava, often misunderstood outside of Africa, provides not only a calorie-dense base for millions, but also houses essential minerals like magnesium and calcium when properly prepared. Then there are legumes like black-eyed peas, groundnuts, and bambara nuts, small but mighty sources of plant-based protein, iron, and complex carbs that nourish deeply and digest cleanly. Bambara nuts, in particular, are gaining recognition for their drought resistance and protein content, making them a nutritional lifeline in harsh climates. In African kitchens, these foods are rarely eaten alone. They're stewed with herbs, mashed with spices, blended with leafy greens, and paired with fermented flavors that maximize their absorption and bioavailability. The brilliance of these dishes lies in their intentional balance. Protein meets carbohydrate, fat meets fiber, healing meets flavor. And unlike the protein shakes or synthetic supplements pushed by modern fitness culture, African tubers and legumes offer a whole food approach to strength and stamina, wrapped in comfort and tradition. They don't just fuel the body, they build it, layer by layer, in ways both scientific and spiritual. To overlook them is to miss the quiet genius of everyday African meals, simple, earthy, and profoundly effective at supporting vitality. These are not survival foods, they're success foods, and their presence on our plates is a testament to the power of eating with roots, both literal and cultural. Hidden in the bubbling pots, tangy broths, and sour staples of African cuisine lies a secret weapon for health that modern nutrition is only beginning to understand: fermentation. Across the continent, fermentation isn't a trend, it's a tradition, an ancestral science passed down through taste and time. From ogiri in West Africa to kenki in Ghana and injera in Ethiopia, fermented foods have long been central to African meals, not just for flavor but for their incredible ability to support gut health and overall immunity. Ogiri, made from fermented melon seeds, may have a pungent aroma, but it houses powerful probiotics that balance the microbiome, aid digestion, and enhance nutrient absorption. Kenki, crafted from fermented corn, supports a thriving gut flora and delivers a slow release of glucose, keeping blood sugar stable and energy consistent. Injera, the spongy fermented flatbread made from teff, does double duty. It's rich in iron and naturally probiotic, supporting digestive health with every bite. What makes these foods exceptional is that they're prepared not in sterile labs, but in homes, with time, patience, and instinct. Unlike commercial probiotics that come in pills and powders, these are living, breathing foods that carry the microbial fingerprint of culture and place. They teach us that good bacteria don't always need to be engineered. They can be grown, nurtured, and enjoyed through generations of culinary wisdom. Fermentation in African cuisine isn't just a preservation technique, it's a preservation of health. It strengthens the immune system, reduces inflammation, supports mental clarity, and even improves mood, all through the gut-brain connection. And while the global wellness industry races to create the next kombucha or probiotic yogurt, African fermented foods have been quietly delivering the same benefits in far more nourishing, culturally embedded forms. They prove that the path to better health doesn't always require something new. Sometimes it just takes honoring what's already been perfected over centuries. Eating fermented African food is more than a meal. It's a daily ritual of healing, of connecting with our microbes and our memories, one bite at a time. From the grains that build strength, to the greens that purify the body, the herbs that heal, and the fermented foods that keep our systems in balance, African cuisine is far more than a source of sustenance. It is a legacy of wellness, resilience, and ancestral intelligence. These meals are not random recipes. They are centuries of survival distilled into flavor, function, and family. And as the world begins to search for answers to its growing health problems, the solutions have been simmering quietly in African kitchens all along. The health benefits of African foods are not new. They're just finally being seen. But this video isn't just about food. It's about reclaiming pride, protecting culture, and reviving the powerful truth that what we eat can be our most potent form of medicine. Whether you're from the diaspora, deeply rooted in the continent, or simply curious about expanding your palate and boosting your well-being, the path forward is clear. It's time to stop overlooking what's been in front of us all along. The future of food is African, bold, healing, whole. So now that you know what these incredible foods can do, don't just watch, act, explore them, cook them, celebrate them. Let your plate tell a story that spans generations. If this video opened your eyes to the power of African foods, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more deep dives into the wisdom hiding in our everyday meals. Your journey to better health might just start with the next bite.